Welcome to your first core connection session. In this session, we'll be focusing on how you are feeling physically today, becoming more aware of your body, and also on how to connect with the muscles in your core, especially your pelvic floor muscles. You can think of this as our foundation session. After pregnancy loss, it is common to feel disconnected from your body and your core area. Yet I want you to hear that your body is actually incredible, and it's capable of so much. It can be really helpful to reconnect with your body with self-compassion and in a positive way, which is what we're hoping to start doing today. If you find connecting with your core area emotional, then please don't worry. If you feel able to, allowing yourself to gently experience those emotions can be helpful as you start to work through what has happened. But keeping yourself emotionally safe is the most important thing. If you find the emotions overwhelming, then it's okay to stop, and you may want to explore how you're feeling by talking it through with someone or spend some time using Denise's safe space activity. So before we start the session, I'm just going to introduce Nikki to you, and in each session, Nikki's going to show you the easier level, Shakira's going to show you the middle level of exercise, and I'm going to give you a progression for if you would like it. Now, the first thing we're going to do today is just have a little look at a grounding exercise, and this is just really to make sure that we feel comfortable with where we are and that we're really focusing on what we're doing. So, Nikki, you're just going to do this relaxed comfortably in the chair to start with, and Shakira, you and I are going to come down onto the mat. I like to lie just with my knees at 90 degrees while I do this. And if you just want to put your hands across your lower tummy if you're comfortable doing so. If not, just put them down by your sides, that's absolutely fine. So just focusing on where we are first of all, I just want you to pick a colour and then have a look around the room and just see if you can name 3 things that are that colour. And then once you've found your 3 things, if you just shut your eyes for me next, and I just want you to focus on 3 things that you can hear. Now once you've done that, we're just going to now focus on what we can feel. So just feel the floor through your feet and through your body. Have a sense of what that pressure feels like. And next we're going to focus in on what's going on in our bodies. Now, if you're feeling anxious or stressed or have a lot going on in your head, sometimes it can be difficult to remember to check in with ourselves. So that's what we're doing right now. I just want you to scan your body from your head all the way down to your toes. And just pay attention to how you're feeling physically. Do you have any sensations maybe of heat or cold? Maybe you've got some niggles or some stiffness. Maybe you're just feeling really relaxed. Just scan your body all the way through. And we're just trying to connect in with our physical selves. And now that we feel kind of a little bit more grounded in our room and in our bodies, I'm going to teach you how to do, firstly, something that I like to call a core breath, and also how to then do some pelvic floor work and how to connect with your pelvic floor and your deep core muscles. So Shakira, if you just stay lying where you are, and Nikki, you're just sitting nice and relaxed on the chair. I'm just going to sit up while I talk you through this bit. So our core breath, first of all, and the reason we start with our breathing is because our breathing is actually really connected with our core muscles and how with our deep core works. So that's actually where we need to start. So ladies, what I'd like you to both do is to just do a deep breath in for me, imagining that your rib cage is like an umbrella, and you're going to expand and open your rib cage in every direction. So that's out to the side, but it's also forwards and back. So expanding your rib cage and then release. Lovely. As you do another one of those, you're expanding that rib cage. I also want you to become aware of your tummy just rising and falling with that breath as well. Well done. And then this time, it feels a bit funny, but it's a good way to visualize what you're doing. As you do your umbrella breath in, I want you to think about that breath going all the way down and through into your pelvis. So you're breathing all the way down and through your body. We don't often take a full deep breath, do we? It feels quite different, okay? So you expand in that rib cage, breathing right down into your pelvis. And when I am doing these sessions and you hear me talk about a core breath or an umbrella breath, that's what I'm talking about, that deep in-breath all the way down and through your pelvis, okay? Now we're gonna add in some pelvic floor work. Now your pelvic floor muscle is the muscle at the bottom of your pelvis, okay? It can be a little bit hard to work out how to engage that muscle, so we're going to talk through it in quite a lot of detail in this session, then we're going to build on that every week, okay? So this time, I'd like you to both do your umbrella breath in, expanding your ribcage in every direction, and then as you breathe out, see if you can tighten just around your back passage on the out breath. And then release on the in-breath. And then this next time, as you breathe out, I want you to lift and squeeze, this time through your vaginal passage. So this section is the middle section of the pelvic floor. And then you're going to do your umbrella breath in as you release. And then this time, as you breathe out, I want you to think about squeezing around your bladder opening, as if you're stopping the flow of urine. Lovely. And then breathe in to release. Can you feel how there's three different, very, very different sensations there, isn't there? Between the back, the middle, and the front sections of your pelvic floor. And as you're doing those, you'll hopefully feel your lower tummy muscles come across the way, just kicking in a little bit as well, because the two muscles, they do all tend to work together. So now we're going to try and add it all together, okay? And we want to try and get all those different components of our pelvic floor going at the same time. So this time, you're going to do your umbrella breath in for me. And then as you breathe out, I want you to tighten around your back passage, lift and squeeze through your vaginal passage, and then you're going to squeeze around your bladder opening as well. It's as if you're zipping up from the tailbone all the way around to the pubic bone. Okay? And then once you've got that connection and that engagement, that switching on of those muscles, I want you to see whether you can keep it switched on about 30% of a full contractions. You're not hanging on really tight, you're just gently engaging through those muscles while you breathe in and out. That's the tricky bit. It's a little bit like doing this, but you do get it. If you focus on your ribs going out to the side, that can kind of help separate your breathing in a little way from your pelvic floor work, okay? And as you're doing it as well, just make sure that you're not tensing muscle groups elsewhere. So I don't want you to be tensing through your glutes, that's the muscles around here in your buttocks. You don't want to be squeezing your thighs together, okay? Everything else should be nice and relaxed. It's just your deep core. That's the lower tummy muscles and your pelvic floor that should be gently working. Okay? It's not easy. It's quite tricky, isn't it? Yeah, but we're going to be doing that lots, and the more you do it, the more automatic it becomes, and we'll be working it into different exercises. So trust me, it does get easier. Okay? So now that we've done our core breathing and our pelvic floor, we're now going to start incorporating that into some really gentle exercises. And the focus of these exercises is whether you can keep switched on through your pelvic floor while you're adding some movement in. So quite gentle in this session, and then again, we just build and build and build each week. Okay? So if this time, Nikki, if you could come forwards on your chair for me and sit on the edge of your chair. We're all going to put our hands on our hip bones. Shakira, you and I are just staying on the floor where we are. Okay? And if you just make sure you're in a nice, comfortable position, think about making sure that your muscles north of your belly button, so in the top half of your body, are nice and relaxed the whole time. I don't want you to be tensing up through the shoulders while you do this. You want to be nice and soft and gentle. Okay? We're going to switch on through our core, so let's do our umbrella breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to gently lift and squeeze through your pelvic floor, so you're tightening around your back passage, lifting through your vaginal passage, tightening around your bladder opening. Keep that switched on for me, and then we're going to just take one knee out to the side, and then in again. And then back again, the other knee, sorry. Lovely, and back again. And as we do this movement, we're aiming to not particularly drop that knee a long way out, but to be able to keep our pelvis nice and still and our stationary knee nice and still as well. Okay, so it's about how stable and still you can keep those parts of your body rather than how far you can move your knee. And that's it, Nikki, you're just moving one knee out and then the other. Fab, keeping your hip bones pointing forwards, your shoulders pointing forwards as you do that. That's brilliant. Okay. We'll just do a few more. And then thinking about a different movement, but still focusing on that core. This time we're going to go into some heel slides. So let's do our umbrella breath in again. And as you breathe out, switching on through your pelvic floor. And then we're going to slide one heel away. And Nikki, you can do that on the chair as well. And then draw that foot back in. As you draw that foot back in, just make sure that your back isn't arching. It's as if you've got springs between your bottom rib and your pelvis, and those springs stay the same length the whole time, just to make sure you're engaging through that core. And Shakira, I want you to just keep going with one heel slide and then the other. And I'm going to show a little progression to this by taking arms up and over the head. We'll do a few more, really focusing on your core, making sure you're not arching your back. Lifting through the pelvic floor the whole time. One more each side, everybody. Fantastic, very good. Excellent. Lovely. So after that exercise, we're going to move on to some bridges for Shakira and I, and that's just thinking about our spinal mobility. So Shakira, if you bring your heels nice and close to your bottom for me, and Nikki, I'm going to show you a slightly different exercise to do in a moment that you can do in sitting, okay? And if you just put your hands down by the side of your body, Shakira, so that they're palm up towards the floor, it just opens you up beautifully across the collarbones. And we're going to switch on through our core. So you're going to do your umbrella breath in. And then as you breathe out, lifting and squeezing through your pelvic floor, tuck your tailbone up and under for me, which flattens you back into the mat. And then I want you to peel your spine up off of the floor, one bone at a time, until you're all the way up onto your shoulder blades. Breath in. And then as you breathe out, you're going to come back down onto the mat again, one segment at a time. It's almost as if you're playing musical notes on the piano down onto the mat, bone by bone, and you want them to come down individually rather than in clumps. And then you rock into your neutral at the end of the movement, and then you tuck your tailbone up and under, and off you go again. So when you go up, it's like you're peeling your back off of the mat like a giant sticker. And then you're coming down again, segment by segment, like individual notes on the piano. So if you keep doing that exercise for me, really focusing on that control and that movement at every level through your spine. And what we're going to do, Nikki, is similar, but you can do it in sitting. Just put your hands on your knees for me, okay? And we're going to do a little bit of a cat stretch in the sitting, all right? So you're going to switch on through your core, so umbrella breath in. As you breathe out, switching on through your pelvic floor. And then I want you to form a lovely C shape with your lower back, and then make that C shape go all the way up through your spine till last of all your chin comes onto your chest. And then uncurl from your tailbone first, and come all the way up again, segment by segment, okay? And then going again. Lovely. Now we'll do a few more. Fantastic. Well done. How does that feel, Shakira?
Yeah, great.
Is that all right? Yeah? Good. Fantastic. So this time, Nikki, if you keep going with that one for me, and we're going to come over into 4-point, okay? And do a few different exercises in that position there, all right? So for our 4-point position, you're just continuing with your cat stretches. We're coming down onto hands and knees. Just make sure that your hips are directly above your knees and your shoulders are directly above your hands for me in that position there, okay? And we're gonna come into doing the cat stretch in this position. Now, just one thing in this position though. If you're uncomfortable on your wrists, you can come up onto your fists. All right, so you might be more comfortable in that position, Shakira. I'm going to stay down on my hands. It's just important as well that you make sure you're in a neutral pelvis position. I like to just kind of rock through the pelvis forward and back when I come into 4-point. Just come to rest midway between the two. And you want to be nice and strong across the back of the shoulders, chin tucked, so that your spine is in a nice straight line all the way from the tip of your head right down to your tailbone. All right, so let's think again about our core connection. So we're going to do our core breath in, and it feels lovely in this position because you can breathe right up to the ceiling through the back. And then as you breathe out, you're going to zip up again through your pelvic floor, just finding that gentle connection for me. And then Shakira, we're then going to tuck our tailbone under and forming a lovely C shape all the way through our spine until last of all, chin comes onto chest. Keep your chin on your chest and you're going to uncurl from the tailbone all the way back again to your neutral. And then off you go again. So you always start the movement at your tailbone. And again, we're thinking about it segmentally. It's nice to do it in this way because you just become really aware of all the movement that's possible at every single level of your spine. Rather than thinking that your spine has to work as a single unit, you've actually got a lot of movement in different areas there through your spine. How are you doing, Nikki? Does that feel all right? Yeah? You'll be nice and loose by the end of this as well, hopefully as well. Okay? Fantastic. Okay, so if you just keep going with that cat stretch, Shakira and Nikki, if you come up into standing for me and you're going to use your chair for a little bit of support, you're going to do the next exercise in standing and Shakira and I are going to keep going in 4-point. Okay, so if you could stand facing your chair for me. All right, and you're going to do the arms but in standing that Shakira and I are about to do in 4-point. Okay, so next exercise, we're just going to do a little bit of arm extension work. Shakira and I working in 4-point where we are, so we're going to all switch on through our core, and then we're going to float one arm long. So Nikki, you're taking one arm up and over your head for me, and then return that arm, and then we're going to go with the other side. And Shakira, what we're aiming to do is just stay nice and strong across the back of the shoulders. We're all trying to stay engaged to our pelvic floor and our deep core. And you want to make sure you're not kind of rotating through your trunk while you do this movement. Just keeping that gentle core connection the whole time for me. Let's keep going, everybody. Gonna do one more each side. Last one. Fantastic. And then from there, Nikki, if you just turn and face into the wall for me, you're going to do some gentle wall planks, okay? So you're going to be taking your body weight forwards and then back, all right? And we're going to do some plank prep work. So taking your hands forwards for me, okay? And Shakira, we're going to take our body weight forward so our shoulders are over our hands. And as you do that, can you just feel those lower tummy muscles kicking in? Yeah? And then we're going to ease off again. All right? And same for you, Nikki, as you take your body weight into the wall, into a forwards wall plank, hopefully you can just feel those lower tummy muscles engaging. And then we're going to ease off again. And we're just focusing on, as we do that, engaging through the pelvic floor, so lifting and squeezing, feeling those lower tummy muscles switching on, and then easing off. Let's do 4 more. Well done, everybody. Do more. Breathing out on the effort. Good. Last one. And ease off. Fantastic. Lovely. Right, so Shakira, we're going to come forwards into a high kneel position. And Nikki, if you just stand and face the front, you can hold onto the chair for a little bit of support if you need to. And on our way up into standing, we're just going to do some stretches for the front of the hips as well. These muscles at the front of the hips, I think we're all prone to getting a little bit tight in here just because we spend a lot of time sitting. So it's nice to stretch them out, and we'll be doing that in every session as well. So what we're all going to do, and you're doing this in standing, if you just bring 1 foot forwards for me, Nikki, that's it, okay? We're going to tuck our tailbones under, and then we're going to take our hips forwards but keep our shoulders back. Can you feel the stretch in the front of the hip? Yeah, you can feel it. Can you feel that? Yeah. If you can't feel it, what's possibly happened is you've brought your shoulders forwards. All right, and you've kind of released that tension. If that's the case, bring your shoulders back, reset, tuck your tailbone under, keep your shoulders back, take your hips forwards, and just feel that stretch in there. Okay, I'm just going to hold that for a few seconds. Feels nice, doesn't it? One of my favorite stretches, I think. Okay. And then let's swap sides. Oh, without falling over. And then tuck your tailbone under, keep your shoulders back. Forwards we come again. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you feel that? Yeah. Very good. Brilliant. Okay, and then easing off. And then Shakira, let's come up into standing through a little bit of a roll up. So if you roll back onto your heels, straighten your knees as far as you can, and then just come up segment by segment. That feels nice, doesn't it? Fab. Okay, and standing on our mat. Now we're all gonna work in standing. And Nikki, you've got the chair if you need it for a little bit of support to the side, okay? So now that we've kind of thought about our core down on the mat, we don't spend all our time lying around, do we? Hopefully. We do need to be up on our feet as well. It's really important that all these muscles are kind of working when we're in these upright functional positions and going about our day-to-day. So there'll always be that within the sessions, just a little bit of standing work at the end, okay? So start with your hands on your hip bones, and Nikki, if you just put one hand on the chair for me, that's great, okay? First exercise we're gonna do, we're gonna just switch on through our core. So you're gonna do that umbrella breath in, then as you breathe out, lifting and squeezing through your pelvic floor, keeping your hands on your hip bones. I want you to make sure that your pelvis stays level, and then come forwards with one toe, just to tap forwards, and then in, and then let's go out to the side, and then in, and then I want you to go back for me, and back. Okay, we're going to do that again. We'll go to the other side just to equal ourselves out. So going to the other side. Now, as you come over to take your weight over onto one side, just make sure your nose is in line with your big toe. What we often see is people kind of coming over this way or dropping down this way. We want to be nice and strong on that leg that you're standing on, your supporting leg. Really work those glutes on that side of your pelvis. Keep your nose over your big toe, switching on through your core, and then see if you can tap forwards with your toe and back and out to the side. And then behind you. Lovely, and let's swap sides again. We're gonna keep going. And when you do these, if you really focus on pointing that toe, you'll also just increase some of that tone, especially when you go backwards. If you point your toe, you'll really get your glutes kicking in on that side and back. And then swapping sides. And again, you're really focusing on your quality of movement there. We don't often, again, focus in on how we're moving. And this is the opportunity to do that. Okay, last set. We're going to tap forwards and out to the side. Fantastic. And back again. Excellent. Now, keeping your hands on your hip bones for me, switching on through your core. We're just going to come up onto our toes. Lovely. And then down again. And now as we do that again, I want you to make sure that you're coming up on nice steady ankles. Don't want wobbly ankles in and out. High on your toes as you can. And down again. This time as we do it, I want you to focus on taking the crown of your head up towards the sky. So you're not taking your body weight forwards, you're going straight up to the ceiling, engaging through your core to find your balance. Nice and high on your ankles. You okay there? Straight. Falling over. Okay, and let's go again. Lovely. Now this next time, we're going to stay up on our toes, and then I want you to just drop one heel as the other knee bends. You're going to come back up and you're going to flip. Okay, and then coming up and down. And as you do that again, just make sure that you're going straight up and down, crown of your head being pulled to the ceiling, rather than kind of coming out with your hips either side. This means we're kind of activating all the way around our pelvis, around our core that little bit better. Now that we're doing that, we're going to try and work some arms into this, and this is where the coordination comes in. So put your hands down by your sides, and you can give it a go without holding on if you want to, but you've got the chair there if you need it at any point, Nikki. Okay? So this time we're going to start swinging our arms. Opposite arm is going to come forward. Told you that's where the coordination comes in. If you've got opposite arm going, you do, well done. What about you, Nikki? Yeah, you do, well done. Okay? I know. So we're still focusing on what's going on in this core as you do that, all right? And now how about if we try and do it double speed? Ooh. I know, you're running for the bus. And you're going under a bridge, so you can do it with bent knees. Don't miss the bus, come on. But you're still focusing on your core. What's going on here? Oh, I stopped one arm. How on earth am I gonna get back? There we go. And now over a hill, really tall. Keep going. Don't lose your balance. And you missed the bus, so you might as well slow down. Fantastic, very good. Okay, lovely. Hope you've enjoyed that. We're just going to finish off with some nice core breaths, and then we'll be moving on to session 2 next time. So when you're ready, we're going to do a nice big breath in. And as you breathe out, pop your hands behind your head for me. And then as you breathe in, take your hands back up to the sky, and then round. And this time I want you to shut your eyes for me and just do that little body scan again that we did at the beginning. Hands behind your head as you breathe out. Hands up as you breathe in and round. And we're going to do one more, just scanning your body, compare with how you felt at the start of the session. Last one as you breathe in and round. And open your eyes and relax. Well done, everybody. Hope you feel more connected with your core, and I'll see you in session 2. I hope you've enjoyed this session and that you are now feeling more aware of your body and your core. If you feel able, it would be great if you could focus on doing 2 things for me over the coming week. Firstly, try to do a body scan each day, checking in with how you are feeling physically from head to toe. And secondly, try to do the pelvic floor connection exercises little and often as you go about your day. There is some practical advice on this in this session's written content.